Welcome to the teaching learning section of this channel. We have heard your voice and know many of you are doing virtual learning from home, and some may be back in school and need a little extra help. We're going to try to answer the call and help as much as we can with this section of our channel. So stay tuned. And in this video, we're going to be looking at rounding numbers. Rounding numbers are pretty easy if you know the rules, okay? The first rule is any number 4 and below. What do you think you do with it? How would you round that? I'll tell you. You round down. Again, that's 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and you're rounding down. Okay, here's the other rule. Any number 5 and above, and that would be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you round up. Saw how easy that was? You already got 2 rules under your belt. First rule, any number 4 and below, you round down. Any number 5 and above, you round up. Now, let's see what this actually looked like in action. Let's check it out. Okay, the first number we're going to look at is 7,999. Now, we want to round to the nearest thousand. Now, we're looking at, again, 7,999. Now, what rule do you think we're going to actually use for this? Now, in order to actually round to the nearest thousand, you have to look at the hundreds place, or normally the number next to it. And this is the number 9 in the hundreds place. And if you're not sure about the placements, where the numbers actually are placed, you need to check out the video called Number Placement. And in that video, I go over number placements, where they are and how they're labeled. So if you don't know, check it out. But this is what we're looking at. The number 9 in the hundredth place, right here. And it looks like it's going to be utilizing Rule 2. Any number 5 and above, it gets rounded how? It gets rounded up. This rounded up to 8,000. Did you see that? Did you see how that worked? Pretty easy, didn't I tell you? Let's try it one more time. Now we're looking at 532, and we're going to have to round to the nearest hundred. So we look at the number next to the 5, which is in the tens place, and that's a number 3. Now, where does that 3 fall in on Rule 1 or Rule 2? If you said Rule 1, you're right. Because remember, Rule 1 said any number 4 and below, you round down. So let's see, did that happen? Well, that's what happened. It rounded down to 500. See how easy? This is easy. I told you that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, these are the rules, are strategies that you use to get to your answer. And your answers are rounding whatever number. If you're rounding in the thousands, the hundreds, and so on and so forth. So let's look at another strategy. If you notice, we've got a little chart down here. I love charts, and this is for people who like seeing things. If you forget a rule or two, that's fine. You can write a quick chart. If you're looking at having to round to the nearest hundreds, thousands, just take that number and you put the highest number and the low number, the high and the low end, and you see where does it fall visually to you. Let's take a look at a number and see how that works. Here's the number 245. Now it's going to have to fall within this particular chart that we're using. So it's going to be between 200 and 300 that we have to determine where it falls. And again, we're looking at the tens place to determine where it's going to fall for this hundredth place. And we're looking at a number 2 in the hundredth place. So let's see, what are we looking at on this chart? Okay, did you see where that happened? It's kind of thin there, but you can follow this. It fell here. Now, to look, how many bars does it take to get to the 300 from here? Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get to the 300. But how many bars does it take to get to the 200? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it only took 5 to get to 200, where it took 6 to get to 300. So that makes this number rounded down to 200. Okay, and that's just a visual. If you were to apply the rules, you would know right away rule 1 would be what you use, because this is a 4, and anything that starts with a 4, you go 4 and below, you round down, and we did. So let's take a look at this particular strategy one more time with a different number. And remember, we don't remember what the rules are. So let's take a look at the next number. Okay, we're looking at 281, and we have to determine what's the closest 100. We're going to be rounding to the nearest 100, and going to the next 100, we're either looking at 200 or 300, and I don't remember what the rules are. So by looking at a bar graph real quick, I can look at the bar graph, and as you can see, we just had an arrow come down. I'm gonna, because it's kind of thin, I'm gonna let my cursor follow the arrow and show you where on the bar graph it falls. Okay, looks like this is falling right next to the 280. Now let's see if we count the bars to the 200. Let's see how many bars it takes to get to the 200. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to get to the 200 bar. Now if we take that same strategy and we count how many bars it takes to get to the 300, 1, 2. It takes 2 to get to 300. So we are closest to the 300. So we actually, with this number, had to round up to 300. And remember, we don't remember what the rules are, but we were still able to get to the answer. And all this shows you is that you don't have to stick to one strategy to get to an answer. I don't want you to get stuck in a strategy, because sometimes that can kind of hold you back. And you don't want to do that, because all you want to do is get to the answer. So that's what we're looking at when we're looking at rounding numbers. You know 2 ways from this video how to get to that answer. You know, if you could remember the rules, the rule 1 is that if anything 4 and below, it would round down. Anything 5 and above would round up. That's one strategy. Your second strategy from this video is a bar graph real quick, just to see where you are. And the bar graph will work for any number, long as you put the highest or the lowest point that a number can go to. You would be able to see it visually. So I hope this video was able to help. As a reminder, please help support this channel by subscribing and hitting that like button.